Mike, we're live.
All right. Woohoo.
Welcome to this episode of Vestibular Talks. It's an honor having you here, so I appreciate
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here, Chappie. Jonah.
it. Johan.
John. I only know you as Chappie, so.
Yeah, it's so it keeps like freezing. I don't know. Can you see me properly? Everything okay?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. It might be from my end then. All right, Mike. So let's talk a little bit about you and your story before we get into the fun part of the vestibular talk.
Sure. Okay. Well, I guess as far as for me, I've done a lot of different things in my life, all kinds of work and so on and so forth, blah, 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 blah. But about 7 years ago, on Christmas Eve morning, I woke up and I had double vision.
Okay.
Let's see. I woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I thought I had left my contact lenses in.
Okay.
I didn't, and I rubbed my eyes, and that didn't work. And I kind of stumbled all over the place, and I got really, really scared because I had absolutely no idea what was going on. Long story short, I probably did some stupid things because I didn't, at the time, I didn't want to think to myself that my world was any different. You're trying to make yourself be the same person.
Yeah.
No problems. So, but so I did all the checks. I didn't know, maybe I had a brain tumor, who knew? I did testing and so on and so forth. And bottom line is, they couldn't really come up with anything other than perhaps I needed prism glasses or something like this. It's just like that, after really, really being scared for 3 months later, that went away. Just like that.
Okay, so sorry to interrupt you, Mike. So for 3 months straight, you had double vision, like the whole time, just seeing double.
I don't know if you can see. This is my eye patch.
I can see it. Yeah.
I had to wear my eye patch in order to see properly through one eye because I had double vision.
It didn't matter in which eye you put it on, or no?
They told me that I should wear it in my non-dominant eye.
Okay.
And so I was able to see, but yet it was still, there was no depth perception.
Yeah.
When we lose an eye, there were things that can happen.
Yeah.
So it just went away. It just went away, and I was thrilled. But the gift that I was left with, that I didn't maybe realize at this time, was I had some sort of vestibular dysfunction. So I was dizzy. I had drunken feelings. My balance off. And that's basically where I've been for the past 7 years.
Okay.
So
it's quite interesting because especially to wake up in the middle of the morning and realize, like, okay, something is going on with my vision. And I always say this to people, that the trickiest part about these conditions, not only the dizziness, but the fact that our eyes change. Like something is off about our vision, and we need our eyes for everything. I mean, God willing, we never have to experience losing an arm or a leg. But I think that losing an arm or a leg, you can still be somewhat functional than when something happens to your eyes, because your eyes, you need them for depth perceptions, to see things, to move around, to go up and down stairs, to drive. So our eyes are such a primordial part of our daily life. So I can't even imagine what you must have been feeling for 3 months of experiencing that.
Yes. Well, if there's any positive, there always is positive.
Yes.
And I think that I've come away from this. I wouldn't wish it on anyone,
Sure.
I certainly had some time to process a lot of different things. You know, when you're sitting around and you have double vision, you know, you have maybe some time on your hands. And
Yes.
so, you know, and let me tell you that when that was going on, I still did not necessarily let people know what was happening.
Yes.
I was working. Yes. I mean, you know, my family, my mom was very ill at the time. I didn't necessarily share.
Yeah, you want to burden her. Yeah.
And if, from my perspective, I wasn't sure if I was the only person going through anything like this.
Yes, yes.
And that's one of the things that I wanted to say, that probably the greatest gift, one of the many gifts that I've gotten from this whole process is learning how important it is not to be isolated, not to, you know, to let people know what's going on. Because if you don't, you can't assume that they know what's happening.
Exactly. It's true.
And, you know, Chappie, I just want to tell you right now, because I always try to do this, like right at this moment in time. I don't know if you have any symptoms going on.
I do.
Okay, good. Well, I think it's important to tell, you know, I explain, like right now, I have, I've been packing because I'm going out of town tomorrow. So
Okay.
I've been packing. So then I got, you know, a little dizzy, dizzier than I would normally be. I have that sort of rocking feeling a little bit of being drunk.
This
And
way. Yeah.
my newest, I want to introduce my newest symptom. It's only been with me for 3-4 weeks. Amazon, drum roll, please. My new symptom, tinnitus. Yes.
Oh, no. Welcome to the call.
Yeah. I told you, what did I tell you that I wanted to do? I wanted to make you laugh. That was my goal of this whole.
You did.
So anyway, yes. So I have tinnitus going on right now in my head.
Is it constant or does it come and go?
It's pretty constant, but here's the lesson. One of the lessons is that when everything is quiet, it is more prevalent to me.
Yes, it becomes louder. Yes.
Yeah. So I guess an answer is, well, do stuff, Mike. You know, just let's not sit around and think about the ringing in ears. And also, I have to tell you what I just figured out today as I was packing. I usually take a white noise machine with me because I need it to sleep. Well, guess what? I don't need that anymore.
I know. It's funny that we laugh about this, but I very well know what you mean. Yes.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I think. I think we need to be laughing more. I really and truly do, because our vestibular disorders. It's interesting. I look at you. You're a good-looking guy. I think I'm okay. I see the people that you've interviewed. Everybody looks good. So people in our world, when we're happy, there's nothing of what could possibly be wrong. I mean, here I am. We're having this conversation and we're laughing, but you know, I'm also very, very conscious when I'm talking with you that my words aren't slurring up. Okay. These are just things that happen with us, like almost automatically.
Yes.
And you know, somebody said to me, you know, Michael, are you acting sick? And I said, you know what? It is so much harder to fake being well than it is to fake being sick. I could fake being sick very easily, but faking being well is something that you and I do just almost automatically every single day of our lives.
Daily basis. Yes. And It's funny that you mentioned that because you're right. Like, look at us right now. We're having a conversation, we're laughing, but we're dealing with things inside of us right now that are taking all of our focus and our control in order to be okay. For example, looking at you, the depth perception, I almost see like almost like you're in 3D pop into my face, but I'm trying to keep it together. And from the corner of my eye, I can see that you have a fan going on in your ceiling, and it keeps spinning. And leave it. It's okay. It's okay. So my no, it's good training. It's good training because
you're right.
It allows me to not get anxious. I see it and I'm like, you know what? I am okay. I am safe. We're okay. We're having a conversation. So it helps me train my mind. So a lot of times you're right. We need to fake being well, but it teaches our minds that, hey, maybe from faking being well so long, maybe we are getting better. Maybe we are feeling well.
So here's the thing. So double vision for me and that whole incident.
Yeah.
First off, here's this was the old me. When it went away, my first thing that I thought to myself was, oh my gosh, when will it come back? You know, it showed up and it disappeared. No doctor could tell me exactly what that was all about. Chappie, there is a possibility that maybe I trained myself. I was going through vestibular training. It is possible that maybe I corrected myself.
Yes.
Right?
You might still have it, but you just adapted to it. Yeah.
Absolutely. But here I was almost paralyzed with not living because I was afraid that it might happen again. I was afraid to travel. I was afraid to do a lot of things. And you're shaking your head because I have a feeling that you probably have also processed things like this, which probably is natural to think about. But, you know, here, let's take my ringing in my ears right now. Okay? Something new. Yay! Something for the holidays, my new gift. I mean, look, it sounds like the Salvation Army, is ringing the bell. So, I mean, it's like kind of, maybe it's here for Christmas. I don't know. But, I mean, it could be a lot worse, right? I mean,
yes, sir.
It could be a lot worse. I think that if we could speak to people in our community a little bit, I think that we need to give ourselves a break because you mentioned something. One of the reasons I wanted to speak with you is because so much of what you talk about and you mentioned in your blogs, your Instagram, I find like it connects with me. You did the run, right?
Yes. I'm still paying for it. My knees are still in pain after so many weeks. Yeah.
My hat is off to you because you did it. Now, of course, you were a little frustrated that people, I think, interpreted that as, well, how sick could you be if you,
yeah.
Right, yeah. I go out and I hit tennis balls because it's good vestibular training for me.
Absolutely, that is good, yes.
I used to play tennis almost competitively with leagues and such. I was a captain of a tennis team.
Okay.
And people will say, well, Michael, if you're going out and playing tennis, then, obviously you're not sick. People in our own community even will say, you really don't have what I have.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, if that makes you feel better, okay, but not true. I mean, it is that I am trying to, make my life better.
Your life, yeah. What happens, Mike, is that so many people give up, so they feel sorry for themselves, and they almost want to make it be a competition of illnesses. like, oh, well, my symptoms are worse than yours. Why does it matter? Even if they might be, even if your symptoms may be worse than mine, or even if mine are worse than yours, doesn't matter. The fact is that we both have symptoms, and we should be compassionate with each other rather than comparing and competing. Like, why are you sick worse than me? Why are you better than me? No, like, we should be asking, what are you doing that is helping you? So maybe I can help my symptoms become better as well. Rather than putting the other person down, be like, hey, what advice could you give me so I can maybe get to that point where you're at? Maybe I can go for a walk. Maybe I can go to work. Maybe I can sit outside without being terrified of leaving my house. So rather than asking the questions of what can we do to help each other, we're mostly asking, well, you're not as sick as I am. I'm in a worse condition, and that's that. I don't know. I don't get it.
It's very, very true. It's very true. All of this, and you said before we started this conversation, you typed to me, "Let's change the world," and I want us to try to do that a little bit with particularly with other people out there that are watching. By the way, subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit the like button, because you never say that, so I'm saying it for you, because
thank you.
It's that good. It's that good what you do. One of the things that I think that you do that is very, very important that we don't do enough of, those of us with vestibular, any of us with chronic, it is to have a dialogue. There are a lot of people on YouTube that do videos, updates, and it's fantastic. There's a lot of vestibular.org, which is our nonprofit organization, is fantastic. And they have Facebook groups, which are great, terrific. But this sort of thing, and talking and having a two-way conversation, I think is just so important to be able to, break out of isolation, not live your life behind necessarily a computer, and talk and listen, because you talked about the importance of listening, and I agree with you on this. Listen for listening, not necessarily to be able to comment back.
Oh, yes. Mike, a few things that you mentioned. So let's trace back a little bit. So you had your eye condition for about 3 months, and then you said it went away. When you say it went away, did it go away gradually, or you woke up one day and like bam, like just like it showed up, it disappeared?
Yeah, and so it just went away. It just went away. I woke up. It was really weird, because it was like it was on my birthday. I mean, it almost sounds like a Hallmark TV movie.
Holidays. It's a holiday condition, yeah.
Right. I mean, it's almost like I was afraid to tell the honesty of it all, because it's just so funny. It's like, oh. So, I mean, we talk about gratitude and blessings. Yes, I have all of that, but it also sounds like a joke. But yes, on my birthday, so it went away for whatever reason. Who knows? And it wasn't. So I lived sort of a double life with my ENT doctor. He has diagnosed me with vestibular migraine. Okay. The neurologist that I've seen, or have seen, a couple of them, they say that it's doesn't make complete sense, because that is just such a different type of experience that I had. So I'm sort of living each day, not exactly sure, do I have a diagnosis? Do I not have a diagnosis? It's sort of like I take I just assume that maybe there's more to learn, because I may not know. I mean, here's a diagram. I don't know if you can see it.
I can see it, yes.
Okay, so this big circle, that's what I don't have in my control. Maybe getting better isn't in my control. This little circle I have in my control. Those are the things that I control. I can be a better person.
Yeah, yes.
Right? I can be a better person. I may not be able to get better, but I can be better.
Yes.
You know, when I was talking with somebody the other day and they said, all I want is my old life back. That's all I want. I just want my old life back. And you're shaking your head because you know the answer that I'm going to say. I don't want my old life back. I want my life to be better.
Yes.
When I had my old life, I wanted to be better than where I was. So why would that change now? Why wouldn't I want to be a better person than what I was?
I often say, I don't want my old life back. I want my health, but I can still gain that. I don't want my old life back because this helped me improve my diet, improve my quality of life, spend more time with my family, appreciate the little things. Like I used to take so many things for granted. This gave me a reason to wake up every day and open my eyes and be like, thank you, God, one more day. I got this. Like before, I used to live a life of like a zombie, like a sheep. I would wake up the same, watch TV, eat food that wasn't too healthy for me, waste time on social media all day long. Now I count my blessings and I try to share them with others, and I make my days count. And you know what, Mike? Something that you were saying is a lot of people want to get better, yes, but they don't do what it takes to get better. So when people see me and they criticize me because I went on a 10-kilometer run without any training, because I traveled to Cancun to get married a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
I was terrified of traveling because I'm like, what if in the airplane I get extremely dizzy, I get vertigo? What if my ears start to ring extra loud? But I managed to do those things. I managed to go to yoga classes, to exercise, and people say, well, we don't know what you're doing that you're getting better. You know what the truth is, Mike? I am not interested on getting better. I am committed to getting better. So I wake up. So I wake up every morning around 6, 7 a.m. for first of all, give thanks to God, be grateful for what I have. And then what I do, about 2 hours of vestibular therapy, aerobic exercises, take my vitamins and supplements, eat a healthy breakfast, do a little bit of meditation, take a cold, freezing shower. Right now, because I live in Canada, it's -10 outside, and I still take cold showers in the morning just to shock my body, shock my system, like, whoa, like what's happening? Then I go to work, spend my day at work. In the afternoon, healthy lunch, take the rest of my supplements and vitamins, come home, do prayers, do my other vestibular therapy, my eye therapy, yoga, and meditation, and about 2 hours again of head exercises, neck exercises, things like that. So every day, that's my routine, that's my routine, that's my routine. But you find people that are just laying at home, crying every day because they are feeling like this is not going to get any better, popping pills and medications, and then they are like, I don't get why I'm not getting better.
Okay, so here's what we'll change the world. First of all, I just want to tell you that I feel blessed just from what you talked about. And the reason I feel blessed is because it's 82 degrees here in Florida. It's not 30 degrees. So it's warmer here.
No kidding.
Lovely. Thank you. But here's what it is. I used to be a personal trainer myself, and I applaud everything that you're doing. Let's talk to the people that we may have come in contact with that may not be able to. Let's put it this way: they may not be able to do the things that we can do. Here's what all of us can do. I see it. We can all define what is a good day for us.
Yes.
And
yes.
Any person who asks me, am I having a good day? I have levels of good days. Every day is a good day. It's good. Some are great. Some are good. There's always something. And the reason because of that, Chappie, is because I define what a good day is to me. So you talked about the run that you did. Now maybe somebody who's never run before, maybe they're not able to do that. Maybe what they can do is say, what can I do today? What can I do? Maybe it's physical. Maybe it's not even physical. Maybe for someone who can't get out of bed, maybe making their bed makes it a good day for them.
Yeah.
if we look at things this way, if we choose to live our lives by defining our own day, you talk about this, and I agree, you hit another nerve with me, responsibility. If we are responsible for saying what makes a good day for us and what is winning each day, every day that we wake up, we have one less excuse for not attaining our goal. It's difficult in our world, with people who don't maybe see, that maybe don't understand what we're going through. It's difficult sometimes for them to, if they're asking, they have maybe good intentions to say, "Are you having a good day?"
Yeah, it's.
And if I say, "Well, yeah, today I am," and maybe come off and rattle off a couple of things, and they look back and they're like, "Is that considered a good day for you?" I think in their positive that they are trying to help, but I'm not going to let anyone define what is a good day for me. I will tell them back that, the reasons why I feel I'm having a good day.
And you're right. A lot of people have good intentions, just the way of delivering the message might not be as good as their intentions are. For example, my new wife, well, my wife, I should say my new wife, because I never had an old wife. My wife, often she's like, "How are you feeling today?" And even though I have the symptoms, I said, "I'm okay." She's like, "Oh, really? Like, are you okay?" I'm like, I'm okay. Doesn't mean that I'm completely healed, but I'm okay. And then she starts asking me, she's like, but your symptoms, are they strong or are they low? And I'm like, they are there, but I'm managing them. And then she's like, but how, like from 1 to 10, how are they? So then I start to get a little frustrated because I'm trying to tell my mind I'm okay. And she's trying to do a nice thing by asking me, "Hey, from 1 to 10, how are you feeling?" But if I start fact checking and giving my symptoms like a degree of like, well, maybe I'm a 5, maybe I'm a 8, that's gonna throw me off, because I've been working all day trying to keep it together and being like, "I'm okay. I am okay. Yeah, I'm sure I'm okay. I can function. I'm okay." But when somebody starts symptom checking, then it just collapses, because you start to then focus on it, and you're like, "Yeah, maybe I am more dizzy today. Maybe my headache is stronger today." So that people have good intentions. They just need to know how to deliver the message properly.
Absolutely. And, I'm going to back this up because this is so interesting to me. I was just speaking to, I speak to a lot of people, and I've tried to make it a mission to have one-on-one conversations like you're having, but maybe not so much online. I haven't done that, but I spoke to this woman who is a recent bride, and she didn't tell her husband. Her new husband knew nothing about her. Right. So first off, I applaud the fact I don't think people understand that we are making constant negotiations about so many different things. Yeah. Who we tell, what we do, does this affect this? I mean, because we took this medication, is that causing this symptom, or is it just that the light is brighter? This is constant in our head all the time.
Yep.
But what I said to this woman, I said, "Boy, you're not doing yourself a favor, and you're probably not doing your new husband a favor either, because they're not going to understand if you are just not feeling like you want to do things. They're not going to have any and don't you feel that you need to know how this person is going to react to you? Don't you feel enough that you're entitled to know that?" So these are the sorts of negotiations.
Duke, he's right now biting my toes. That's why I keep looking down, because he keeps biting my toes right now. Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to explain, or I want you to explain. So explain who this is.
That's our newest addition, Duke.
Okay. So I'm going to give you an example.
This was biting my toes right now.
So cute. So cute. But you touched on something. There's a reason I have a picture of Duke. First of all, it makes me happy. So I love Duke. Okay. So, but you touched on something with Duke in your last talk, because you said, wow, I wonder if a lot of people who have animals are affected, our symptoms are affected.
Yep.
Okay, now I've been with animals, so I'm here to say that I don't feel much difference when I'm around them and not. But here's the question. These are the sorts of things that we have to think about. Let's say that you found out that your symptoms were 20% better if Duke wasn't around. These are this now you don't have to answer this. Don't answer this. But these are the sorts of negotiations that we have to think about all the time. Right?
100%. And you know what? Because so my wife, she loves, as myself, we love animals. But she got a little parrot a while back. Rico was his name. And you know what, Mike? I love the animal. Like, he was beautiful and he was very loving and very caring. But the little parrot noise that he makes every day is quacking, quack, 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 in my ears, because all of our senses are enhanced. I kept feeling like somebody was putting a speaker and it's quacking right in my ears, and it's quacking and it's quacking. And I took it for as long as I could until I told my wife, I said, I'm sorry, like I can't. Like I love him, but I can't. And she found a family to take him. It was very painful for both of us, mostly for her, because she was very attached to it and she cried a lot. But we had to get rid of Rico. So you're right. There are times where we have to compromise with what do we do in order to keep our sanity or our health. So I felt heartbroken because I know it wasn't Rico's fault. Like it's not his fault that he quacks. He's a bird. He's supposed to do that. But in my ears, I just physically couldn't take it. So you're right. We need to negotiate every day with, like, what do we do? What don't we do?
But as long as Duke's still in the picture, I started hashtag Stand with Duke. I was afraid that Duke was going away, and I said, oh gosh, maybe not before our conversation, because I was going to say that how could you? But
I'll tell him to you. If we're ever gonna get rid of Duke, I'll send him your way.
Yeah. Now please. So here's the thing, because you did say, and I don't want this to go on very, very long, and I want to do another one with you where we talk about how people in our world, how we can get, have good conversations with people that don't necessarily have what we have going on. Because, just what you said, people they have best intentions. They have very, very good intentions. Your wife, she definitely has good intentions. But you and I, this is just stuff that we're going through all day long. It doesn't really stop. We can't help it. It's like we are constantly. I stay away from the scales, like the 1 to 10, or I feel 80%, 90%. I don't even do that. I measure by what I'm able to do.
Yes.
Like not by a scale. But like, I was able to get on my bicycle. I was able to ride my bike, and I felt really, really good today. The sun's shining, and I feel great. But, one thing for us too, and for the people that are going through what we're going through, the tendency is for us to think that we are weaker than other people because we may not be able to do the same things or have the same intensity. It's exactly opposite. We are stronger. We're so much stronger because in order for us to do a sometimes simple task that everybody else is doing, and to do it flawlessly, and to look like there's nothing wrong, we are so much stronger because of that.
Yes.
It's just a fact, right?
I 100% agree with you.
And I just wanted to leave you one little story about my something that just came into my head regarding the double vision.
Please, yeah.
So the double vision, when that happened, it was right around in Christmas time. And I remember being so freaked out because I would look at Christmas lights. And when I looked at Christmas lights, it was like a big blur. And I was like asking my friends, I'm like, wait a second, am I looking, is this like, they're like, no, Mike, it's just one string of lights. It's like, right. So I was anxious and really, really freaked out. But what I have to say this is, you talk about, here it is Christmas again. I don't have that double vision. Now I look back at that and I say, at that moment in time when I looked at those lights, if I would have let the anxiety go and just looked at what I was looking at, the lights were beautiful. It was like blurry and it was absolutely amazing. I mean, it really was. And I think about that sometimes. It's like, I don't want it back. I'm fine without the double vision. But there are there's good in just about all situations if you let yourself kind of go with it a little bit.
Mike, now that you said that you don't want it back, has it ever happened to you that any of your symptoms, once they disappear or they fade away a little bit, you start to check on them like, hey, is that there? Like, do you kind of miss it? Do you kind of miss a symptom? Like,
it's kind of like a friend that is just out there.
Especially with the ringing of your ears.
My friends kid around with me now, and this is one of the things. Two things. If we leave people, if you're going home for the holidays and your family doesn't know, maybe try to explain a little bit about what your situation is, because hopefully you'll come to a point like I am where I could actually be humorous with my family a little bit and my friends. But you asked me about missing the symptoms, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, every once in a while, I'm sort of like, think to myself, like I have a Christmas party that I didn't want to go to, but I felt good. Now, I used to have a great excuse not to go to a party.
Yeah.
So I told my friend, I said, I just don't feel like going. And my friend said, is it because of your symptoms or is it because you just don't want to go?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I just don't want to go. I mean, I used to have a built-in excuse sometimes.
Yeah, it's true. It's totally true. But you know what? Something that you mentioned as well. Well, a couple of things that I want to ask you. Number one, these symptoms seem to be showing up for you prior to the holidays, like Christmas, your birthday, or whatever. Well, your birthday is when they actually disappear. But do you think that is it because your stress level is higher in those seasons, or why do you think? Because I know stress affects me. When I'm really busy at work or I have a really busy day going on, I feel my symptoms increase. So I don't know, how is that for you?
Okay, great question. The answer is, listen, every single day from 7 years ago, every Christmas Eve that I went to bed or the night before Christmas Eve, I just assumed that I was going to wake up again with double vision. Okay. So I guess my answer is that I am aware that that stress, there is a relationship between stress and symptoms. There is some sort of relationship. What I'm not clear about, and we can argue about this forever. I believe that I don't consider myself to have been like a depressed person. Maybe you can get that from me a little bit. That really wasn't my ammo. Maybe the fact that I was always pretty much of an overachiever. I mean, that is true. And I think that there's that sort of thing seems to be something that is common. But yes, I am very, very very conscious about my anxiety level. I mean, and this is what makes me better. Packing, normally, I'm going out of town tomorrow, whether it be for business or for pleasure. I used to pack at the last second. I used to, no more. I pack ahead of time.
Yeah.
Very much so. I mean, I missed a connection. I missed a connection when I was in Europe. And normally, I mean, I remember I was in Rome and I was rushing to get to a plane. And at the same time, I was looking up at the monitor and looking down, and I got dizzy. And I said to myself, wow, am I dizzy because I'm anxious, or am I dizzy because of my symptoms? And I just started to laugh because I thought to myself, who cares? I'm going to miss my plane, which I did.
Oh, no.
You wait, guess what? Turned out great. I had a day in Rome, and it was wonderful. It was a great day. It wasn't my fault that I missed the plane. The connection was, the one plane was too late. It turned out great. So there's definitely a connection between anxiety or something, stress, and this. But it can make you better if you plan things out a little bit easier for yourself.
Now, Mike, my other question is, 7 years later, you seem very well put together. You seem confident. You seem very calm, like collected.
I still have a disorder.
Yes.
I have to keep reminding people.
Where in those 7 years, is there anything, like any medication that you found out helped you better or that made it worse, or any sort of therapy or treatment that helped you improve?
Okay. First of all, how I look at medication, how I look at everything, how I look at life. I like playing games. So it's sort of like with medication, I consider it like a jigsaw puzzle. I'm putting a piece in, it doesn't fit, I take the piece out, maybe there's a piece missing. We've all played jigsaw puzzles. We know how that goes. Very fortunately, I have an ENT doctor who also has vertigo and is very, very mindful of switching things on and off and trying different things. I have to tell you that right at this moment in time, I have no medication going on whatsoever. I've tried a number of different things. Most of everything that I've tried has been for anxiety. And I just did yin yoga. Okay. That was something that came up in either your last speech or the speech before that, your last video. That was great for me. So medication to me is a little bit bigger. Yes, I take vitamins. I take but right at this moment in time, no, I don't have the quick fix. Nothing right now. I think I'm okay. I'm trying to figure out with the tinnitus whether or not there could be something that could maybe help that. I don't know.
Zinc, the mineral zinc.
Oh.
It decreases your ringing in your ear. Yeah.
Look, I learned something.
The reason why they prescribe you antidepressants when you have vestibular migraines, for two reasons. When we are in the acute or chronic state, our sense of fight, flight, and freeze is constantly on. So you're constantly in a panic mode, panic attack. So they give you the medication to decrease that a little bit in order for your brain to be like, okay, we're okay. How do we assess getting better? And the second reason is because antidepressants in small dosages, like amitriptyline and nortriptyline are very popular. The reason why the doctors prescribe them is because they decrease the frequency of the migraine attack. So that's why often they prescribe antidepressants like amitriptyline and nortriptyline for vestibular conditions.
And I'm a mixed bag when it comes to all this triggers food triggers and so on. So I was a personal trainer. So it's sort of like I know what I need to eat. And I just think that makes good sense. If it makes good sense, a lot of people are like thinking that they're going to find an answer by eating better. I think that eating better is part of the overall equation to being healthy. Is that going to get rid of every symptom that I have? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I eat pretty well. There is something for me with barometric pressure. This is for sure. When that pressure drops, or here's what I do. When I feel like that my symptoms are high, I happen to look at the barometric pressure, and it's always very low. Always very low. So for me, there seems to be some sort of correlation there. But that's the beauty of our very special disorder, is that it's different for every single person. And we have to be very fortunate on top of it, because for men, I think it's like only 10%.
Compared to women, yeah. I think it's one guy out of every 3 women, 1 man per 3 women, they get it. So yeah.
So we're so special that we've been given this.
Mike, something that you did say is that you appreciated when you had the double vision and you look at Christmas lights, that it was a beautiful view of it, even though it was different from what everybody else was seeing, correct?
Not only that, if you really want to get philosophical, who's to say what's right and what's wrong? Who's to say that when I'm looking at those Christmas lights that was not the way that they were meant to be looked at? This is something that I try to work on. And when I speak with other people that I feel are not in, maybe at that point yet, I try to remind people that, let's laugh a little bit. Let's have some fun. Let's not be so self-involved in our own selves that we can't, be available for other people. There's a difference. If you and I were just having this conversation just between us, that would be us probably seeking inspiration. The fact that you do a video like that, you are being inspirational. Seeking inspiration is one thing. Being inspiration is different. And I strive to do that more. Not just seeking inspiration, but being inspirational. And I think that this is a great thing that you do. One last thing with people, when they're going home for the holidays, a lot of people are anxious about, I think, or I've spoken to some people that are very anxious that they're not going to be able to do the things that their family is doing, able. And here's what I do. I try to lead. I try to be a leader, meaning that with my family, I try to throw out something that I know that I can do and ask them if they want to join me.
Yep.
As opposed to being passive and waiting for somebody to ask me what I want to blah, 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 when I know that I may not be able to do it. If I am a leader, first of all, I have as much right as anybody else to set an agenda. So you maybe want to ask your relatives, do they want to go for a walk? Do they want to have talk? Do they want to do something that you can do? Let them say no. Or let them just try to think of something that might be helpful for people for the holidays.
And you know what, Mike? Something that I wanted to say. Oh, I wanted to get one of those. I wanted to get one of those for this interview, and I forgot. I'm gonna blame it on the brain fog. Yeah, hashtag stand with Duke.
Right. We have these things that we can blame things on. I mean, it's bad. I mean, it's not good to do, but every once in a while, yes, you're right. Why shouldn't we blame it?
Well, Mike, I also see it as often we see things as a disability when we can see them as a superpower. For example, A lot of people message me often, very often, asking me about derealization or depersonalization. When they are like, "Oh, do you feel that you're in a dream-like state, that things are not real, that you're in this bubble or inside this glass or window?" And I say, "Yes, I get it. Why?" And they're like, "How do you deal with that?" And I always say, I use it to my advantage, because when I feel that things are not real, you know what I do? I push myself harder doing things, because I'm like, well, if it's not real, then let's do it. So, for example, the race, when I was running the 10-kilometer race, I kept feeling like, oh, foggy, like I wasn't me, like I was like, and I'm like, good. If I'm not me, I'm not gonna be tired. I'm not gonna be dizzy. So I kept going and going and going. And same at home. At home, when I'm working out, doing aerobics or lifting weights, and I feel that sensation of like, this is like dreamlike, like I'm not here, like I feel like I'm outside my body, like my soul left my body. I'm like, good. So I can even lift heavier weights today because I'm not me. So I use it as a superpower.
Absolutely. And you know, there's a lot of things physically, like I said, in another lifetime, I was a personal trainer. I mean, let's be real. I mean, for me, a lot of what I can't do involves my head movement, but, you know, doing weights, doing stair stepper, that is, you know, not, you know, intrusive, you know, like running. I would not be able to do what you did. I would not be able to run the race. I used to be able to run, but that would be too much movement for my head. Or let's put it this way. There are other things that I can do that's more in line with me.
Your abilities, yeah.
Right. So why would I want to shove that circle into a square or try to do something where I may end up not feeling accomplished enough when I can do something else, right? And I think that's important for people to know. And one last thing about the holidays, because, you know, it's coming. It's coming.
It is, this season is here.
You know, give our loved ones a break. If you don't know what is wrong with you, if you are unable to explain to others what what you're going through personally, it's pretty hard for them to know what's going on. Even if you can explain, loved ones will naturally want to fix. They want to fix you as opposed to maybe listen. So you have to explain what might be most helpful to you. And I think that we take that for granted with the people that we're around. You said it with your wife. She has best intentions for you. She wants to help, but maybe it's one more conversation to explain what really might help, or show this video because we just talked about it.
Mike, one last question before we go. It's, if you close your eyes and you think about the Mike 7 years ago when the double vision started, and the Mike that you are right now, what holiday message would you like to leave that Mike?
The old Mike. What do I want to tell 7 year Mike?
7 years ago, Mike.
Yeah, Mike, don't waste 4 or 5 years talking to people, pretending that everything is okay, seeking answers. Don't be that Mike anymore. Like, let yourself be known and embrace what you have. Embrace the changes, because I can really say that I feel like I am in a better place in a lot of ways. Not always, but in a lot of ways. When I look back at 7 years ago, you're a great new friend of mine. We're going to know each other. I just know it. We're going to know each other for a while. I really do believe it. I would never have crossed your path. I mean, it's just so, but before, I was a very frightened person who didn't do a lot of anything. So that Mike, I would like that Mike to get out and start living. you know, and the message that I have, if I had to come up with one line, I'm going to try it right now. Hold on, brain fog. Wait. Okay. The line that I would say is, I don't believe that you only have one life. I believe you only die one time. I believe you have the ability to make a new life every single day you wake up.
Yes.
That's my message.
Very nice message. Very nice. And if I may say something to old Mike and new Mike, it's
yes.
Old Mike. Even though I didn't meet you personally before, I believe you served a purpose. And now new Mike, from what I can see, is very outgoing, very strong, very confident. And likewise, you have a new friend in me as well. So new Mike, welcome to my life. And I hope we can do this again and again.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for for Duke, who I'm going to put in a picture frame. I'm going to keep Duke around me. I don't have a dog right now, but Duke, you're sharing Duke with me, whether you like it or not. I have Duke now.
Duke is a whole new character, like Duke.
Good.
All right. So now, thank you very much for this. And if anybody wants to see you on Instagram or follow you or get in contact with you to maybe ask you any questions, where should they do it?
I'll tell you what. I'm redesigning a whole bunch of things. How about if I'm going to get that together over the weekend. I'm going to put it as a comment on this page on your video. Is that okay?
Excellent. That sounds perfect. All right, Mike. Well, happy holidays. Thank you so much for doing this.
Happy holidays.
And then best of wishes.
Pleasure.
Be good. Bye-bye.
Bye.